Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create an automation that sends reminders for unpaid Stripe invoices to your customers on make.com. Let's get started. The first thing we'll do is I'll search for Stripe, and then I'll search for invoice. Then the module that we're going to pick first is search for invoices. On this module, we are searching for unpaid Stripe invoices. Here, I'll add a customer ID. I'll choose to search by email, and then add my email, and then choose my customer ID by picking my email. The status is going to be open, since we have already sent the invoice to the prospect, but they haven't paid yet. The collection method is send an invoice. And then here we can set a limit to 1 instead of 100, and then click on OK. After we have searched for the invoices that are unpaid, we are going to retrieve the invoices. So here I'll search for invoice, and then click on retrieve an invoice. Here I'll add the invoice ID, and then click on OK. After retrieving the invoice, we can retrieve the specific customer or the prospect the invoice was sent to. So on Stripe, I'll search for customer. I'll search for customer. We can choose to search via email. So here I can add customer email, and then we can reduce the limit to 1 instead of 100, and then click on OK. At this point, we have retrieved the invoice and the specific customer who was sent the invoice. Here, we can choose to break our automation into two, where we are sending an email reminder to the prospect telling them, hey, you need to pay this particular invoice. And then we can also send a Slack message to our team listing all the customers whose invoices have not been paid, so they can follow up in the future. Now, to split our flow, I'll use a router. And then here, we can set up a filter and label it as 30 days past due date. And click on OK. We'll come and add the numbers later. Here, we can choose to add those specific customers whose invoices are unpaid to our Google spreadsheet. So here, I'll search for Google Sheet and then click on Add a Row. For Google Sheet, I've created an example Google spreadsheet like this one, where I've named it Unpaid Stripe Invoices. And here we have 7 columns. The first one is for the customer name, the date the invoice was created, the due date of the invoice, the amount that is due, the customer email, the invoice PDF link. So you can say the invoice PDF link and the invoice ID. So this is our spreadsheet that we are adding all those customers who have unpaid invoices. We're going to search for our spreadsheet and then click on our spreadsheet, which is Unpaid Stripe Invoices. The sheet name is going to be Sheet 1. And here you will see the values that we're going to be adding to our Google spreadsheet. So the first one is the name of our customer. So we can add the name, the created date, and click on the created time. The due date, we're going to get it on our invoice, which is the due date right here. For the amount due, we're going to get that from our retrieve an invoice and say the amount due. For our customer email, we're going to add our customer's email right here. And then for our invoice PDF link, after we have retrieved our invoice, we're going to have our invoice PDF right here. And then the last thing we're going to add is our invoice ID, which is this invoice ID right here. You can also add other columns if you like, but for now, I'll click on OK. You can set up a filter and say only unpaid invoices, and then click on OK. Now, since we are adding our invoice PDF right here, we can choose to send the invoice PDF to our prospect via email. So here, I'll click on HTTP and then click on Get a File. The URL, we're going to use the URL of our PDF file. So we're going to send them the invoice PDF. And then lastly, we're going to send them an email reminder, reminding them that they have an unpaid invoice and they should make payment to the invoice as soon as possible. So here I'll search for email and then click on send an email. The subject line could be on the lines of quick reminder. And the content type, we're going to use HTML as our content type. And then the content could be on the lines of hi name. The name, we are selecting the name of our customer. And then the email is on the lines of, here's a friendly reminder that your invoice needs to be paid. Thanks. And then here you can add a recipient. So you can add the customer email. So their email right here. And then click on OK. Now we can set up the second half of our automation, where now we are sending our team a list of customers who have not paid the invoices. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to search our spreadsheet. So here we're going to search for rows in our Google spreadsheet right here. Click on our spreadsheet. The sheet name is going to be sheet 1. For our filter, here we're going to say name is equals to the customer name. So here we're going to choose the name of our customer. And for the maximum row return, you can say 1, and then click on OK. Now the other module we're going to add is the text aggregator. So here on tools, click on text aggregator and add it right here. The reason why we are adding the text aggregator is all this data that we are getting from our Google spreadsheet, we are combining it into one so we can send it to our team via Slack. So our source module, we're going to use the from the start. So it's going to be search invoice. And then we can show advanced settings. For the row separator, we're going to choose new row. And then for the text, we're going to add our name column and then click on OK. And then now we can send our team the list of all customers who have not paid their invoices to our team via Slack. So here, search for Slack and then click on create a message. After creating a connection between make.com and your Slack account, here you'll choose your channel. I'll choose from the list, and then I'll choose one of my Slack channels right here. And then the text could be in the lines of, hey there, here's the list of customers with outstanding invoices. And then add a list right here that we aggregated from our Google spreadsheet over here. And then click on OK. Here, we're going to set up a filter and rename our label as customer list for unpaid invoices, just for remembrance sake. And then we can auto-align our automation. We're going to run automation and see if it will run successfully and add the customer's details to our spreadsheet and send us a message to our Slack channel and an email to our email account. Now, let us run automation, see if it will run successfully. Then we can come back and start setting up the filters so we can turn automation to on. Now, to run automation, I'll click on run once. You can see our automation ran successfully. That means our automation is working perfectly. It searched for invoices and then retrieve the invoices and then search for the specific customer who we send the invoices to and has not yet paid the invoice. And then we add in the customer to our Google spreadsheet. We are getting the file, which is a PDF of the invoice, and then sending it to our customer combined with an email reminder reminding them to pay the outstanding invoice. And then on our second part of our automation, we are getting the details of the customer who has unpaid invoices. We are aggregating them and then sending our team the list of those customers who have unpaid invoices. When we go back to our spreadsheet, you can see that we added the details of our customer right here. So let me go ahead and organize it in the right way. So we can choose to unbolden it. We can reduce the font. And then we can expand our columns a little bit. So here you're seeing that the customer who has unpaid Stripe invoices. Here's their name. Here's the date the invoice was created, the due date, the amount that is due, the customer email, the invoice PDF link, and the invoice ID. In our email, you will see our email reminder that we are sending the customer or the prospect together with a PDF that we got right here from our invoice. So this is a PDF and this is a message that we're sending the prospect saying, hey, name, here's a friendly reminder that your invoice needs to be paid. Thanks. And then here is the invoice. Now that we have proven that our automation is working perfectly, here I'll click on set up a filter. So our first condition is going to be if due date equals to the due date, we are going to send an email reminder to a prospect. So here, first thing I'll do is I'll choose the format of the date. And then for the date, we're going to choose the due date. So due date right here. And then here, we're going to write the format of the date. The format we're going to choose is DD, MM, and then YYY. Want it to equal. We're also going to choose format date. And here we're going to add days. So add days. And then here we're going to start from now. And then the days that we're going to add will be minus 30. And then here we'll choose the format forward date. So DD, MM, YYYY, and then click on OK. Now, after 30 days have passed and the invoice is still not paid, this automation will continue running and get the customer with unpaid invoices, and then get the invoice as a PDF and send the PDF together with a message reminder to our prospect. And in the second part, we're going to retrieve the same customer and then send the customer to our team, listing the customers who have unpaid invoices using this simple automation on make.com. After adding your filters, we're going to schedule it, and automation will run after 30 days and send the email reminder to a prospect to finish paying the unpaid invoice, and also a message to our team listing the customers who have unpaid invoices. This is a simple automation that you can set up right now on make.com to remind your customers or prospects that they have unpaid Stripe invoices. If you have any automation in mind that you'd like for me to create, just comment down below in the comment section. I read all the comments, and if I find your comment intriguing, I will come back on a future video showing you how to set up the entire automation from scratch. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.